You might not realize it, but you're probably one of the most attractive men in the room, and it's time you start acting like it. Hey man, let's have a real conversation that most guys rarely acknowledge. Just how attractive you are. No, seriously, take a second and think about it. Most men move through life completely unaware of how people around them perceive them. You wake up, do your shit, put it on, and keep it moving. But you never stop and ask, how do others see me? You probably think you're just another average guy. Nothing special, not ugly, not stunning, just regular. But here's the harsh truth. You could be walking around every single day with attributes that make people notice you, admire you, maybe even get a little obsessed with you, and you don't even realize it. And because you're blind to it, you're not using it. You're not taking advantage of the pull you already have. That stops today, because I'm going to break down the 5 signs that prove you're way more attractive than you've ever given yourself credit for. And let's be clear, this isn't about looks. This is about presence, energy, body language. The things that trigger reactions before you even say a word. The things that separate the men who try hard from the men who don't need to. So lock in. This might explain a lot of things you've noticed but never understood. Sign 1. You walk into a room and without saying a single word, the energy changes. This isn't some Hollywood confidence fantasy. I'm talking about real-world presence. Have you ever noticed people glance at you when you enter a place? Maybe they pause. Maybe they adjust. Maybe they just sense you. You didn't do anything special. You just showed up. That's what silent dominance looks like. Some guys walk into a room and become invisible. Others walk in and shift the entire vibe. They're not always the tallest or the most jacked or even the best dressed, but their body language speaks louder than any outfit. Shoulders back, head up, eyes calm, movements deliberate, no fidgeting, no rushing. They're not looking around for approval. They own the space like they belong, and everyone else picks up on it. Other men either get tense or get quiet, because even if they won't say it, they feel the challenge. Women, on the other hand, react in more subtle but powerful ways. They adjust their posture. They become hyper-aware of you. Sometimes they even get nervous around you, not because of what you did, but because of how you carry yourself. And if you've ever stepped into a room and noticed people change slightly just from your presence, even if you couldn't explain it, that's not in your head. That's dominance, and it's rare. Sign 2. Women hold your gaze just a second longer than they need to. Look, man, women are wired to be socially sharp. They don't accidentally make eye contact over and over. If she looks at you and immediately looks away, maybe that's just curiosity. But if she lingers, if her eyes stay on yours a second too long, that's not an accident. That's interesting. And here's what most guys miss. Sometimes she's not just attracted, she's testing. She wants to see how you handle pressure. If you break eye contact too fast, she senses insecurity. If you stare too hard, she senses desperation. But if you hold it calmly, then look away like it's no big deal. You just passed her test. And here's the twist. Some women won't look at you at all. Not because they're not into you, but because they're too into you. They avoid your eyes because making that connection would feel too intense. Have you ever caught a girl pretending not to notice you while being aware of everything you're doing? That's the same thing. She's reacting. Not with her words, but with her instincts. And attraction always starts there. Sign 3, you speak and people listen. I'm not talking about being the loudest guy in the room. I'm talking about the guy who speaks with so much calm certainty that people naturally tune in. Have you ever been in a conversation where, when you talk, people quiet down just a little? They lean in. They wait for your next word. That's not about being flashy. It's about having a presence in your voice. Attractive men don't speak fast. They don't try to impress. They don't fill every silence with nervous talking. They're measured. They take their time. Their voice is grounded. And because they're not trying to prove anything, their words hit harder. Women are especially sensitive to this. A guy who doesn't rush, who sounds like he's in control of his thoughts, that's attractive. If a girl ever leans closer while you're speaking or keeps asking questions just to keep the conversation alive, she's not doing that because you're interesting. She's doing it because your energy is interesting. Women aren't just listening to your words. They're reading your tone, your pace, your vibe. Speak with conviction and people follow. You weren't just listening to a video. You were remembering who the hell you are. Because deep down, you've always known. That silent pull you feel, that edge you carry but never name. It's not an accident. It's recognition from the world and yourself. The guys who get it don't wait around. They start moving differently. And once that shift happens, there's no going back. So the question now isn't, was this true? The question is, what are you about to do with it? You're not becoming him. You were always him. You're just now starting to act like it. You experienced a version of yourself that you've been ignoring for years. That voice in your head, the one that's been whispering, you're meant for more. You finally listened, and now you can't unsee it. You've walked around playing it small for too long, downplaying your presence, second-guessing your worth, letting the world treat you like you're just another average guy. But deep down, some part of you always knew. You're not average. You never were. You just forgot what it felt like to walk with gravity, to hold space without asking, to know without needing proof. Let them keep pretending it's all about luck. Let them keep thinking attraction is some game of genetics. You just realized it's about posture, energy, conviction. And now that the door is open, here's the part no one tells you. The moment you see yourself differently, the world does too. People start treating you like you matter, not because they changed, but because your presence demanded it. Women will notice, not because you said something clever, but because you didn't need to say anything at all. Because your silence says more than their noise ever could. Other men, they'll feel it too. Some will tense up, some will get quiet, some will respect you instantly and won't even know why. But here's the thing, you don't chase that respect, you generate it. From this point forward, everything shifts, not because life suddenly got easier, but because you stopped apologizing for who you are. That's what real transformation looks like. No flash, no noise, just presence. And if you feel that tug in your chest right now, like something real just cracked open inside of you, good. That means you're ready. Because there's a version of you that's been waiting, watching, quietly sitting in the background, strong, unapologetic, ruthless in pursuit, and now he's done waiting. So step aside and let him take over.